When you're going through emotional healing, it doesn't always feel like a progress, and you may even think that you're stuck or going backwards, because while you may feel emotionally overwhelmed or too tired or feeling less productive or losing your motivation, you may start questioning everything that you're doing. But the truth is, healing takes time. It needs time for your body and nervous system to adjust, for your habits to shift, and for your old emotional patterns to slowly lose their power. And because at some points in my life when I was going through emotional healing, sometimes it really felt like maybe I'm doing something wrong, why it's never ending, why I'm feeling worse, why I'm not going anywhere. And I was questioning myself, and at some point I've been discouraged. But the truth is that after you go through this difficult part, there's always a big change, and in yourself and in your life as well. I went through this many times in my life, and that's why I want to share with you 10 signs that may help you to understand if your healing is actually happening and that you're really making progress, even maybe you're not realizing it for now. The first sign is actually the one that can make you feel a bit discouraged, because you can start having much more strong emotions, and emotions that sometimes are not even connected to what is really going on here and now. You can have strong waves of sadness, anger, guilt, fear. This is happening because you're uncovering all the feelings and emotions that were repressed, hidden, suppressed when you actually had this traumatic experience in your past. And they can really come in waves. You can process some part, then you feel calmer and better, but then another come, then you feel better again, and then another come. And at some point, you can feel a bit tired of this and start questioning yourself, I'm doing the healing. Why instead of feeling calmer, better, like more stable, I'm having all these strong waves of emotions? And on this specific topic, I have another video, why feeling worse can actually mean that you're healing. So if you're interested, you can also check this one. I will put the link in the description. The second sign is that actually you're not afraid of these strong emotions anymore like you were before. You may still have some resistance before to really feel all the strong waves, but you already went through this several times, and you have this awareness that they will pass, that they're not stronger than you, that they will not control your life. You saw several times how they come in, even if they're very strong and overwhelming, then they go to its peak, and then they start kind of going away, and the wave finishes. And you start seeing your emotions with more awareness. You see that there are these waves of energy, and you know how to deal with them. Even sometimes they still can scare you a bit, and you still may have some resistance. You still can see the difference. The third sign is connected to the fact that you may notice that you become less productive or losing your motivation because you can't push yourself or force yourself to do things under old motivations that were fear-based or guilt-driven, or like this survival motivation. All the things that you are doing under the pressure, I will need to do it, or something bad will happen, or like I don't have any other choice, all this motivation, they can start becoming less and less strong. And if you don't know what's going on, you can feel that something is not okay, because you can't force yourself to do the same things you were doing before, or you can't force yourself to do as much as you were doing before. But that's actually a very good sign. If you lose your fear-based motivation, and if you continue going through your healing, then when you feel better, you will find new motivation, the one that goes more from your real dreams, desires, maybe from certain creativity, not from fear, not from guilt, and not from avoidance. The sign number 4 is that you start setting boundaries, even it still can feel uncomfortable. You're learning to say no, to protect maybe your space, your energy. Maybe you start doing something about your habits of people pleasing and trying to be the good one and make everyone happy. And the problem is why maybe you don't recognize it, because even if you start doing it, it can still feel very uncomfortable. Maybe you said no, but then you're sitting with your guilt or shame or fear or doubts. But the most important sign is that you actually start doing it, and that means that you're moving forward. The sign number 5 is that you can survive being misunderstood or disliked by others. It means that when someone doesn't approve you or judge you, it doesn't break you. You can handle it. Yes, it can hurt you in some way, but the biggest difference is that you don't let this fear of judgment to control your decisions and your life. Not all the time, maybe half and half, maybe a bit of decisions still can be driven by this fear of judgment or that you want everyone to like you, but you can notice that it starts shifting, and the more it's shifting, the more forward you're going with your healing progress. Sign number 6, you can still feel tired, but in a different way. Not like it's a burnout or emotional exhaustion or constant anxiety. It's a different tiredness. It feels more like you've done so much, a lot of inner work, your system is resetting, your nervous system is adjusting to work in a different way, and you're just tired because you feel that you need this reset and recover and kind of replenish the resources. Because when we're healing, our nervous system learns to function a bit different way. If you had a lot of stress in your childhood, in anxious environment, fears, some traumatic experience, your nervous system became dysregulated, and it's very difficult for you to stay calm and safe because nervous system get used to be always alert in a stress mode, in a sympathetic mode, and that's what creates this constant tension, and that's actually what drives you also to do things, because you can't just relax and calm down. When you're healing, it starts changing and recovering. And I have a different video about how nervous systems can block your motivation. And in this video, I explain the difference about survival motivation and growth motivation, and how the nervous system, if it's stuck in the survival mode, can block you from the growth motivation. And I explain also how nervous system is becoming dysregulated, how it's happening in childhood, how it's influencing you, what symptoms you may be having now, and what you can do about it. Sign number 7 is that you may become much more aware about of your old coping habits, and you don't use them as much as before. Coping habits like binge watching, scrolling, indulging in junk food, or maybe even overworking, but when it's as a distraction, you start to see these patterns. You see how you use them to numb yourself, to not feel certain uncomfortable feelings, to distract, to not face something. You may still do it, but probably less. You may still do it, but after you do it, you're more aware that this doesn't really make you feel better. It gives you some distraction, some pause, but you can really start seeing how it's actually draining your energy. These kind of things. You become more aware, and you probably already looking for ways how to reduce this coping mechanism and this kind of habits. And the sign number 8 is that you're becoming more curious than judgmental with yourself. So when you notice yourself in some moments maybe of sadness or some weakness or some doubts, instead of trying to judge yourself, to push yourself, to force yourself to do something, you start catching these moments of self-compassion and curiosity. You're asking yourself, what is really going on here? What it is all about? What do I really want? What is the real problem? You're a bit digging to find the real cause. You're searching what you can do about it. But the most important things, you can just be present with yourself in these moments. Maybe you don't feel great. Maybe you don't perform so well. And maybe you're not achieving as much as you want. And in this kind of vulnerable states, you're present with yourself, you're more like a friend to yourself, not this judge or critic. Maybe you didn't arrive yet to the self-acceptance and self-love, but you clearly can see that the shift is happening. You see these moments that you're more kind and more compassionate to yourself. The sign number 9 is that you start questioning your old beliefs and identities. Everything that you get used to think about yourself, your life, things in general, you start questioning question it. You don't maybe see yourself anymore as I'm always the good one or the nice one or the kind one, I never do this or I always do this, or things in life work like this. You start finding the roots of these beliefs, maybe these identities, how maybe they were created in your childhood, how maybe they were certain defense mechanism, how you absorbed them maybe from your parents, from someone else, or how did you create these certain beliefs or identities after you had some traumatic experience that you couldn't handle. And maybe you didn't fix all of them, maybe you didn't change them yet, but the main sign is that you're getting awareness about them, you start questioning them, and you choosing sometimes to start act differently. You don't continue to feed these beliefs and these identities, you're looking for new ones. And the sign number 10 is that you may notice certain changes in your relationship. First thing, maybe you notice that some of your relationships are not serving you anymore. Maybe they were built under certain destructive dynamics, under certain traumas that you had, and you don't want to have them. Maybe they just naturally going away, you just start spending less time with these people and maybe talk less. And another change, relationship that you still have and the relationship that you want to keep in your life, they can become a bit deeper and you can be a bit more honest, a bit more open, and instead of go into certain automatic reactions when something's not okay, you start being a bit more aware that this is maybe just a defense mechanism, that something was touched inside me, some emotional pain, and you can handle this pain and you can speak more honestly, more openly, and maybe you feel closer to certain people and relationship may be improved, some of them. Meanwhile, in some of them that were maybe not serving you in a good way, you may start setting more boundaries, as I said before, and this can even breed some conflicts that can look like things are getting worse, but actually check better what this relationship are about, how the communication were, what role you're playing in them. Maybe this conflict is to change the dynamics or actually to end this relationship. If you notice some of the signs, and especially if you noticed all of them, I can tell you that if you go through the difficult part, if you will continue be with yourself, if you continue doing the processing of the emotions and just moving forward, your life will change. And the other thing, that even if you don't do nothing, but you already initiated the healing, you uncovered certain pain and it's coming out of you and you see the signs, it will still continue and you will still arrive to the point where you want to be. It just, if you will be a bit more calm, more present, more compassionate with yourself, this journey through the healing will be a bit easier. You will not create unnecessary tension and inner fight with yourself and with what's going on. And if you're going through the healing and you want more support on this journey, you can always subscribe to my channel, because now I'm doing quite a lot of content on the topic, and you can check also other videos that are mentioned. I will link all of them.